Hey there, if you didn't already know, I'm in a band called the Rembros here in Ottawa, and we just released 3 songs on Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple, and many other streaming services. So have a listen, like, subscribe, share, and follow us wherever you stream your favorite music, and check out the links in the description below. If you're in the Ottawa area, come and see us play live. So stay tuned for more new song releases, and thanks for your support as always. Rock on! Hey there, welcome back to Manitic Stringworks. So today on the workbench we have this really nice Gibson USA Les Paul made in 2013. Beautiful cherry sunburst finish, flame maple top, 2 humbuckers, controls. Yeah, look at that. I mean, this is a classic Les Paul, right? 3-way switch, 2 pneumatic bridge. We have the inlays, fret markers, binding with the little nibs, which I'm not a huge fan of, but anyways. And classic Gibson headstock, standard Les Paul. So I've got a spec sheet here because this model has got a lot of stuff going on. It looks pretty standard, but under the hood, under here, there's a lot going on with these controls, so we'll have a look at that in a minute. So in this video, I don't really want to focus on the setup so much because this guitar is in really good shape, pretty pristine. The action's a little high, but the neck relief is high. I had a quick look at it, so I'll probably just adjust the neck relief to see if everything moves properly, but this pickup looks high. But I really want to look at this setup here. So like I mentioned, I downloaded the spec sheet, and this is pretty crazy, really. All kinds of stuff going on with the electronics. So as you can imagine, we've got 2 humbuckers, and these humbuckers are Burst Bucker Pros, so both of them. And then we've got some split coil going on, or coil tapping going on for both of the pickups. But then we also have reverse phase tones. Here, look at that on the tone here. So you can do some stuff with these as well, not just the volume. So I think the best thing to do is to plug this in, like I have there. We'll turn it on and we'll see what happens here. I'm curious to know what all this does. Well, like I mentioned, we have some unusual controls here for a Les Paul. Normally we just have 2 volume, 2 tone, so for the neck and the bridge. But in this case, with a very detailed sheet here, we need to figure everything out. So I'm going to put that here as a reference, to be honest. I'm going to unplug the tuner. I'm going to get the amp plugged in. And I'm hoping you'll be able to hear the differences. So I'm going to put that in the neck position here. So that works now. And that's the tone normally right here. So that did muddy up the tone. So now we're going to do the push-pull thing, right? So I'm going to pop that up. Is that changing the tone? Maybe. Okay. I'm going to go now to the bridge here. I'll turn this volume off. I can hear the difference. Okay. Now, the tone. So here we've got, this is what's interesting, I find. So for the tone, we have what they're calling reverse phase tones, or lift the bridge pickup tone knob to tap Gibson's new pure bypass setting, which routes the pickup straight through to the output jack, bypassing the volume and tone controls for a hotter, clearer sound. Okay. So if I pull this up, yeah, the tone doesn't work anymore. So apparently that's going right out to the amp. Push that back down. And this would be, so if we're in the neck position, if I pull that up, that's going to give us a reverse phase tone. Okay, well, whatever that means, right? So this is the type of thing, you know, I've seen on Epiphones, you know, other import Les Paul style guitars. You don't see it too often on an actual Gibson USA model. And I think, am I a fan? I don't know. You tell me. Let me know if you think this is useful. I think the coil split is useful. I'm not sure about all this other stuff here. Reverse wound, reverse polarity, you know, pop. Gibson's new pure bypass setting. I don't know. I think, you know, in a studio or you're sitting at home noodling around on your guitar, it's fun to play with that. But if you're on a stage, you know, playing live, you're trying to grab that, pull it up. No, I don't think that's going to happen. That would be way too hard to do. So, yeah, again, noodling around at home, you know, recording, you know, you have time to set everything properly the way you want, sure. I think most people would just leave this in this, you know, standard configuration and play it. It's a Les Paul, right? 2 humbuckers, 2 volumes, 2 tones, and, you know, neck, bridge, and there you go. Okay, well, let me see about a quick setup, but I want you to tell me, what do you think of this? Do you think it's worthwhile? Is it not worthwhile? I don't know. Okay. Okay, I thought it would be a good idea to bring out the multimeter and check out what's going on as we switch from these different control positions here. So, got the multimeter set onto ohms, so resistance. We've got the ground on the barrel of the output jack, and the tip is the hot, so the red lead. Okay, that's our setup. So right now we're just going to read the pickups in their standard configuration. So this is the neck, 7.57 kilo ohms. We're going to go to the bridge, 8.01 kilo ohms. Okay, not perfectly balanced, but close. And if we go to the middle, it should be somewhere in between, 3.89 kilo ohms. Okay, so now let's go back up to the neck, and we're going to pop out the coil tap here. What does that do? Did nothing. Okay, let's go down to the bridge, see what happens. So we're reading around 8.01. That did nothing either. Oh, hold on. Yeah, that did nothing either. Okay. Maybe someone in the comments can tell me why it's not doing anything. Okay, well, let's try now this, what they call the reverse phase tone. So let's see what happens, if anything happens. Nothing. Okay. And then this is the bypass. So we're going to go on the, oh, sorry, I had it on the wrong one. This needs to be, this is the bridge, the neck. So we're on the neck now. I did a little something, not much, so. Yeah, just from the initial click. Okay, and then let's try this bypass right here. So that's for the bridge. Yeah, just a little change. So, Okay, as far as ohms go and the resistance, really nothing's changed by coil tap or any of these reverse phase tones and the bypass. Like I said, leave me something in the comments. Let me know what's going on. But again, you know, has a big spec sheet here. This has been plecked, so the fretboard has gone through the pleck machine. So, you know, the frets should be level to each other, you know, nicely done. They look pretty good. So, that's a benefit. Talking about the figured maple top. It's a Acorn Nut that we have up here at the top. So they went all out. So this guitar was bought new by the owner in 2013, and in Canada, this guitar brand new was $2,400 Canadian, which is probably about $2,000, let's say, US at the time. Like, talk about a bargain, right? So a real Gibson USA. It's got locking tuners that have been added to it. This interesting control situation here, you know, with the tone controls, split coils, these the Burst Bucker Pro pickups. You know, this has been upgraded quite a bit. I think this same guitar today would probably be about $4,000 in Canada. So, good deal back then. What do you think? So while I'm tuning up this guitar, I just wanted to point out that this model, as standard, has locking Grover tuners. Again, that's not something you see in the standard Les Paul, but for this model year at least, they were offering that. So, you know, again, a bit of an upgrade, I would think, in a lot of people's eyes. Not everyone likes locking tuners, and they're not really for every you know, every player likes them, but hey, if it makes it easier for you to restring your guitar, whether you're just at home or, you know, on stage, if a string breaks, something like that, well, good thing to have locking tuners. Just going to take off the truss rod cover here. Always have a little bin handy. You can put screws and things you take off the guitar and don't lose them. Yeah, that might have been adjusted before. I'll bring you around to show you. Okay, so there is a little bit of scratching going on in that Acorn Nut, but not a lot. And actually I can flake off some lacquer, so yeah, I don't know if anyone's used this, maybe after the initial setup. So that's a 3/8 nut. I'm going to get that on there. Okay, that's on there, good. So I know that fits. Sometimes what happens is there's not enough space right here below the nut. You know, it doesn't. You know, the odd Gibson I've had that, but some of the import ones, you know, that will happen a little more often. Let me zoom out a little bit here. There we go. So I'm just going to check the relief. Like I said, I thought the relief, just looking at it, looked pretty high. So I like to see about, you know, anywhere from 8 to 10 thousandths. So I'll use 8 thousandths to start at the 7th fret, push down around the body joint. Not really touching. Let's try 10. Yeah. And 12. Yeah, I'm not even touching 12. 16. Okay, we start to touch. So the relief is pretty high. So we want to tighten this up. So we're going to go clockwise. So righty tighty as you look at it, right? Lefty loosey. So I'm just going to give it. I'll start with about an 1/8. Oh, that's pretty stiff. Yeah, about an 1/8 of a turn. See how that goes. We'll try 10 thousandths. It's not touching. It's moving though. Try it again. Another little turn. There we go. There we go. I think you can hear that. Okay, we're touching. So that means, you know, the truss rod works. There's 8 thousandths. Yeah, okay. So I'll back it off just a little bit. And I'll just leave it like that. So when I go to do the setup. So I know that all works, so that's good. And I'm sure that brought the action down. So now that I adjusted the neck relief to about in between 8 and 10 thousandths, the actions come down. And I'll use my string height gauges here. With their new stand. If you're interested, check out magneticstringworks.com. So Gibson spec at the 12th fret is 3/64, which is about 1.2 millimeters at the 12th fret. So I'm going to pass underneath there, and really I can just sort of feel it. That's bang on right there. Okay, and at the 12th fret on the bass side, 5/64 is the spec, which is about 2 millimeters. And that's maybe a touch low, but not much. So this guitar, the neck relief is good now. The action's great, certainly right to spec. So I don't really think there's much to do with this guitar as far as the setup, other than change the strings as the owner has asked me to do. I do notice that the pickups do need some adjusting. Let's have a look at that. So the pickup height, again, I'll use the pickup height gauge here in the set. And on the bass side, I like to see 1/8 of an inch. So, you know, about 3.2 millimeters, and 3/32 on the treble side, which is about 2.4 millimeters. So how you check that is push down the last fret, and I'm trying to get that gauge under. No. I'll do both sides. No. 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 So even before I do a string change, I'm going to lower these down. Oh, slotted screw. No way. Hold on. Had to get a slotted screwdriver, small one. Really? Slotted screw in this day and age? Come on. So I'm going to lower this right down here. It's way too high. And, you know, what happens when the pickup is too high is you get some weird tones happening. The string can't really resonate properly, and you're going to risk the string just rubbing up against the pickup all the time and scratching it to all hell, right? So it's good to lower it, you know, lower than you need to start, and then you bring it back up. And again, I like to use these measurements of 1/8 and 3/32. So I'm going to go back here. Yeah, that's perfect actually. That's a little too low. Again, I'll adjust all these when I do the setup proper, but you know, I'm going to get them close. Yeah, that's pretty good. And when you have screws right on top of the pickups, make sure you put your gauge or whatever measuring device you're using on top of the screw, right? Not on top of the pickup cover in this case, because that's the highest point, and that's where the magnetism actually comes through, I believe. I'm sure some of you will correct me. Oh, that's the wrong size. That's pretty good. Yeah, I see that's too high. So we're going to raise that. So again, like I said, it's better to drop it down and then you can easily raise it up. Yeah, not bad. Okay, well, we'll adjust that when I do the final setup. So one thing you want to check when you're doing your setup on Les Paul style guitars with two pneumatic bridges, tailpiece and the bridge separate like that, is the break angle of the string over the back of the saddle. Make sure that it's not touching the bridge at all. And if it is, it can cause some tuning issues some strange sounds, that kind of thing. And you'll be chasing your tail wondering what's going on. So if you just take a piece of paper, and here's that spec sheet I've got, so a thin piece of paper, and you just run it under the string in the back of the bridge. And if it passes under without any problems, like it's doing, then you know you've got enough space, so you're good. So we're not touching anywhere. So if it was touching, then you would just raise the tailpiece up a little bit on either side. Alright, so I'm going to leave the video here. I'm going to continue with the string change and just double check the setup. But I really want to just talk about the special features on this guitar. So as we saw, we have locking tuners, Grover locking tuners, which again aren't standard, but came with this guitar at the time. And we have this setup here where we have the coil taps for the humbuckers. We have a bypass here in the tone switch, and you know what they're calling this phase control, right? So reverse phase tones. So you know, it's up to you to decide if it's worth it. I mean, you can still play this guitar as a standard Les Paul, of course. It's a beautiful guitar, you know, flame maple, cherry sunburst, all mahogany, of course. Very nice. Or you can fool around with all these controls. So you let me know in the comments what you think, right? Is it worth it? Certainly at the deal, the price it was in 2013 it was. But anyways, thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye now.